All right. Good morning, everyone. Happy to have you guys
Good
here
morning.
for our final sales meeting of 2025. I can't believe it's already the year's end, and just wanted to really just thank you all for being another year of wonderful sales and just being in business together in real estate. So appreciate all of your, just all of your relationships that we've built over the years. We are definitely going to be having a nice little holiday party as a company, a luncheon next week at the Shogun in Pasadena. Arcadia agents, Temple City agents, we want to thank you, and we're doing a joint United holiday luncheon. So it'll be a really nice time for us to gather, share a meal together, break bread, give thanks and appreciation from the company to you as agents for our firm, and obviously just celebrate our collective successes throughout the years. And yeah, I'm very excited to have Arcadia join us this season. And thank you. So let's get on with the show with real estate, with some little bit of news and announcements on what to look forward to for 2026. I'll give you some updates on some of the forms that are coming out on just recently released from the December forms release from CAR. And we'll talk a little bit about trends. All right. Does that sound fair?
Mhm.
So, if you have not RSVP to the holiday luncheon, please let me know within today or tomorrow. I definitely need to get the RSV count to the restaurant. So, yes, please, ASAP, let me know if you plan on coming, and affiliates as well. You're welcome. You just got an invite already. So, cool. Let's go ahead. I'll start sharing my actually, let's go ahead and start with our affiliates. And I know John, you were here first, so I'll let
Okay.
you get
Thank you, Kelvin.
kick us off this affiliates introductions.
Yes, thank you so much. I'll be quick. Thank you. I'm blessed to be a part of your office. Thank you for allowing us to be here. I just want to let you know that I'm very grateful and thankful for the business. And I want to let you know that I'm working throughout the holidays. So if you need an NHC report or consultation or go over the FHDS car form, just contact me. I'll happy to do that because your client is the one who does it with your guidance. I'm also here to help you and guide you because right now, this is when you should be working on your CMAs and cleaning them up, making sure they're complete, putting them in line. The people that you think are going to be able to sell or be in the line of selling A's, B's, C's, D's. And those are the people that you want to contact immediately after the first of the year, seeing how their holiday was, how they're doing, and then get into your spiel, your real estate speak and everything like that. My biggest tip to you is while you're out and about talking to people at the parties and things like that, wear a badge. Don't leave business on the table. People can come up to you and ask you, how's the real estate? How how's the market? Is it a good time to invest? All that kind of stuff. And have your pens, papers, and documents with you because you never know where the next deal is coming from. I wish you a very Merry Christmas. Hanukkah begins on Sunday night and a very, very happy New Year. I look forward to seeing all of you at the holiday party and breaking bread and just having a great time. Thank you so much, Kelvin.
You're
My information
welcome.
will in the chat.
I really like your tip about wearing your badge and and don't leave any business on the table. That was a nice pun. But anyway, so thank you. We'll get Sandy Franco. You're up.
Good morning, everybody. I have noticed that a dozen years ago, everyone wore a badge. Nobody
Yep.
does anymore. So everyone is now a secret agent. Wonder if that's working for them. I wear a badge everywhere I go. Sometimes it's so people don't call me Dawn, and sometimes it's so people know what I do for a living. You pick your poison, people. Um, so it is the holiday time of the year, and people are slowing down. But this is absolutely the best time to reach out to your sphere of influence and make sure you're in touch with your clients. If you're out walking in your farm and you want something to pass out, I can give you chapsticks, and those little bags that I put my chapstick in with my business card. It's a win-win. You can get the badge for like $4 on Amazon, but that way they really can't throw your card away and they have to take it because they want the chapstick, right? So kind of a sneaky way to get them to take your business card or piece of candy or whatever you want to do. I'm ending this year, obviously, as tremendously thankful for what my family has gone through and the outcome of what we had to go through. So many things were put into perspective. I have much to be thankful for, and my family and I are super just blessed to all be here together for the holiday season. So I wish the same for you guys, and I will be at the lunch next week. So everybody have a great day.
Thank you for sharing that that the news, and I'm just excited to and thankful as well for what happened for your family and the recovery of your son. Um, it is a really important point, Sandy mentioned. This is the best time of year to reconnect, rejuvenate those relationships and connections you have in your network. Wish them a happy holidays. Ask them how's it going. Let them know what's going on in the real estate front and a little bit of the news. And I do think it's a great way for you to plant the seed and ask them for the referral or ask them for any business or if they're planning to move or do anything with real estate wise, have any questions or answer some of the clarifications on what's going on. There's really so much to talk about, so much law changes, legislation favoring the tenants. I'll talk a little bit about that on some of the things that were going on, especially the disasters that's going on in Los Angeles and rental housing units that are stabilized. Stuff like that is really putting a damper on certain types of certain assets. So, thank you. So, just on our end as a company, I know, I'll ask Amy if you wanted to speak about anything in a second. Sylvia right now is going through a little bit of a recovery. She's a little under the weather and not feeling too good with vertigo. So wish her well and hopefully a smooth recovery. That's why she's not here today. Personally, I was able to, you could see it in the screen a little bit, but I actually just did a facial yesterday. So I have all these scars on my face. I just didn't realize that I was getting my face cleaned up and doing some extractions. And then uh, one thing led to another. And they go, oh, we can do some laser treatment on your face. Why don't we go ahead and just do it all together at once? And then I said, okay. And it turned out I got all these marks. So hopefully they'll be gone for next week's pictures and all the stuff that we're doing in the celebration at the holiday party. Thank you to my wife for setting this up for me and getting my face taken care of because I really don't take care of it or use any type of moisturizer. As far as holiday stuff going on, yes, it is slowing down in terms of the season, but I just want you, encourage you not to slow down because life is always really just moving. Everything is evolving. Everything's adapting. We have a lot of stuff to really shift gears and prepare ourselves for the upcoming new year. So my words of wisdom to you is never slow down. If you're not adapting or you're not evolving, you are basically you're just kind of becoming obsolete. So hopefully you could pick up a new tool, a new resource, a new technology, something that will make you better and stronger as a professional. And yeah, I did some holiday shopping. Black Friday was pretty interesting and cool. So I had a lot of different stuff that I got. I got a brand new phone. Cool. I'm now upgrading to the Google Pixel Pro XL. This is hopefully has some AI features and some really great camera features that hopefully can unlock for myself. I was able to buy my son and I got a PS5, did a trade-in, stuff like that. Hopefully you guys are buying some really taking advantage of some good deals and client gifts and stuff appreciation gifts for your friends and family because there's still a lot of sales going on right now. As far as real estate goes, let's talk a little bit about I'm gonna start sharing my screen, FYI. So let's talk about the market real quick. And I know the Fed meeting returns to the interest rates and the federal funds target rate. We are pretty much locked in for a 25 basis point reduction in the federal funds target rate. So that should be pretty uh, already anticipated and pretty prevalent. That's already priced into the interest rates. So we did see some softening in the rates. But the economic news right now, as of this week, there is some broader cooling down of the economy. The labor market is softened. Tariff pressures are still kind of prevalent. And as far as inflation, it's easing slightly, but there still is a lot of uncertainty in supply chains with various corporate decisions as well. So you're seeing the labor market weekend. These are some headlines that are available for you to just kind of share and talk about if you hear about this discussion going on in your dinner tables. But there is some risks of job cuts in 2026 because manufacturing and various tariffs, they're going to start hitting some effects on the American economy and manufacturing businesses, maybe like vehicles and cars and all this stuff. These are all going to start maybe having some declines in jobs. So we're going to have some uneven momentum. What looks like there's a really just some 9 months in 2025 where the general upward trend says, there's gradual cooling in the services sector as well, not just manufacturing jobs. So core inflation basically just says here we're slowed down to about 2.8% year over year. So that's still okay. No crash, no big recession or depression going on. But again, this is interesting. Apartment rents, they're falling. So this is a record high vacancies right now. There's weak demand in the multifamily market. So you're starting to see a lot of rentals sit longer on the market. A lot of the wildfire victims being displaced, a lot of that movement has already ended. So we're starting to see some vacancies, softness in the rental market, and that also means softness in the multifamily sales as well. A lot of investors are planning to sell their multifamilies, especially in California, because of all the protections that there are in the economy. So, what we're anticipating right now, this is one of the Jordan Levine's chief economists, certain types of things that we should be following. And I did want to share, we're looking right here. I'm going to start bringing up this screen a little bit larger. So we can see here the S&P 500, the stock markets are soaring. Everything is still being very, very, um, it's not showing. Is it displaying for you guys? No, right? Let me refresh this real quick. It's too large of a file. You guys see my chart right now with the screen? Okay, I'm assuming so. So, this is just showing you how the stock market is performing. We did see a 2020. This is kind of the S&P 500 value versus earnings, and there seems to be a lot more value right now in the stocks. So, a lot of the AI stocks, the tech stocks, basically all the stocks are really doing pretty well relatively to what's going on in terms of other types of investments like real estate, what's going on with the future of the home prices. So the macro view would tell us a lot of what's going on in recent trends. Well, let's look at the first thing we look at is the interest rates. And as you can see in the last 12 months, interest rates peaked around 7%. And you can see down here of almost a whole full percent. We're looking at the low sixes for the 30-year fixed rate mortgage. So that's cooling down. It's finally something that people can work with, and that should have some headwinds for 2026, whereas we see a lot of what's called supply of active listings kind of rising. And so the federal funds target rate is not directly correlated, but you can see how it's pretty much very, very associated, the correlation between the federal funds target as well as the 10-year interest rate and the 2-year rate. So this is very a strong indication. We're going to get that 25 basis decrease in December meeting. And so what is that going to mean for us? Well, that really just means more of the same. Job growth is not really it's too hot, so we don't see a lot of growth at all. In fact, there might be some declines and layoffs going on in various companies and um, corporate uncertainty. So the labor surplus and shortage we see right here is roughly around 100 and I don't know if this is in millions, but maybe 157,000. And so this is just a really big indication that, there was a lot of unemployment during the pandemic and the labor surplus, there's not a really strong labor surplus right now. So the consumer sentiment in terms of overall just feeling of the economy, not too hot. It's just very neutral. We're at a low point, real roughly speaking, in terms of consumer sentiment of where we are with the economy. And as you see, the California price growth, what the median price is showing you in green, we're not really showing any growth at all. In fact, this is a small little red tick where it shows a little bit of a decrease in value. You can see 2009 is the biggest crash period. That's the lowest price growth, negative growth. Everything was selling like at below asking price, and it was very, very, very soft market. And so this is one of the indications we should be looking forward and looking at to see whether or not it's a good time to buy or not. But you got to compare that to the housing supply. And as I can see in the last 2, 3 years, housing supply has been on a slight uptick. We have a lot more inventory to sell. California right now is at 4.4 months of inventory, which tells us this is a balanced market. Anything from 4 to 5 months of what's called month over month inventory roughly tells us that's a balanced market. Okay. So, active listings, if you look at the by region, Southern California right here does have this much, this little yellow bar in terms of active listings that have not sold. And you're starting to see year to year percent change. There's not a lot of listings hitting the market brand new. And that could be very seasonal, but you also have to couple that there is a lot of sellers who have not sold their property, who has not got their asking price, and so they delisted their property. They removed it from the active listings from the market, and probably they're either doing a couple of different things. They're leaving it vacant, they're renting it out and just getting the rent, maybe waiting for another year or two to sell. Or the third thing they're doing is maybe doing a substantial improvement, maybe doing an ADU or remodel. But ultimately, we're starting to see some sellers who are not caving in and just selling it way below their preferred outcome and sales price. They're just deciding, I'll hold off and wait for a better time. So that's kind of what's going on right now in the overall and in the broader sales market in real estate. Current inventory, median days on market, 64 days. And this is all CRMLS and California. So this is telling us that if you get a listing, it might on average, just on median, it's taking 64 days, 2 months of open houses, 2 months of you sending out prospecting, reverse prospecting, marketing emails and campaigns to get your listing sold. So if you want to get yours sold quicker and make your job better, consult your client to price it right at the beginning. So you can kind of see here, new listings year over year. We're at a 19% decrease year over year of new listings. And that's very, very obvious that sellers are not really putting their property on the market right now in December or November. This is really just a slow season and just not a great time for sellers. So how many listings of actives had to reduce their price? 42% are reducing their price, almost half. So that's a big indication. This is slightly trending towards a buyer's market. So what do we see and forecast for 2026? Well, Jordan Levine does say that we're going to have, just maybe about resales, maybe around 274,000 units. How's the price going to be impacted? The median home price is probably going to be going up 27,000 to 905. Actually, more closer to about, yeah, not too much, but it's still pricing an increase, 3.6% increase in price. Um, and the interest rate in 2026 should be around 30 years. 30 years should be around 6%. So that's a little bit more comfortable. That's manageable. I mean, the people in the 80s and 90s are saying, I remember when I used to have a home mortgage around 16 to 19%. 6% is still a good deal. I mean, that could be true. It's just putting everything into perspective. Whether you have a long-term perspective, like some of the people who bought in the 80s and 90s, or whether you're a millennial and you're just buying your first home, you have no perspective of this. 6% is something that most people can work around, and even if it's still kind of high, people would like it around 5. Well, they can always refinance in year 2 or year 3, and maybe the rates will be a bit cool off then. The big headline news from NAR is this article here. They do see that the housing market is set for a 2026 comeback. They have a prediction that the prices of homes, according to Lawrence Yun, he's a big chief economist with NAR, they are forecasting a nationwide 14% increase in home sales. Not the price, the home number of volume of sales. So this volume should pick up. It should be a good year for you in real estate. So what is that? Why? Because there's called pent-up demand. There's people in 2025 and 2024. The buyers are saying, I'm fed up with these 7% rates. I'm fed up with these high prices. So they've basically delayed and postponed their home purchase. They're delaying their upgrade or their, maybe they're still renting. So this is something that should help volume wise. You should be able to get a little bit more business, more sales, more transactions this upcoming 12 months. So there is maybe a price increase of 4% nationwide in 2026. And that's also, we just saw that that's what they similar to what California have 3 point something we just saw in that slide. So that is something to keep in mind. Let's continue to stay remain in our business and get some sales. So that's really what we should be. Hopefully, the good news is for next year. Um, Mortgage applications are probably starting to pick up. So it's been slow for the last 12 months. Lenders have not been had much business. There is a little bit more volume. I think 23% of the all of the mortgages that recently, 23% of them have been refinances. Okay. So that's really the headlines of the news. If you like any of these are all on the NAR website. Just giving you a little bit about what's going on nationwide. The MLS data does show that if you have not sold it in the first 2 weeks, your listings, 5% of the sellers are making a price change, a decrease. And if you're sitting just under 30 days, that's a 6% of the sellers are making a price reduction. And you're starting to see it as the days rise, you get to the 2 month to 3 month territory, almost 1 out of 10 sellers are making a price reduction. So this is something just to really give you trends and give you what's called statistics so you can inform and consult your sellers and clients. Let's try to avoid these 30 to 60 days. Let's price ours right. We're going to make the cut anyways. Might as well just start out fresh while at the very beginning with an attractive price. The reason why people are not buying or delaying their home purchases is because of the affordability. Mortgage payments are expensive, especially for if you're buying $1 million home or up. People are needing to have a dual income or they're having to really just maybe cut some expenses, pay off some debt. But at the end of the day, we're seeing that affordability with the high rates was no incentive at all for the buyers. So I'm seeing a lot of sellers making concessions. People were afraid during the buyer broker agreement. Oh, I got to pay my buyer to ask them to sign an agreement. What if the seller doesn't pay me a concession? My buyer's not going to pay me a commission. I'm seeing all the transactions that are going on. The sellers are fully making an agreement to make a concession and payment to the buyer's broker. And on top of that, I am seeing so many of our contracts. I'm so proud of our buyer agents right now. You guys are negotiating amazing concessions to your buyers' closing costs. I'm seeing people getting $10,000, $30,000 worth of concessions towards the buyer's closing costs. Obviously for different types of price points, but their sellers are not negotiating that down. They're agreeing to your closing cost requests. So put it on your RPA under 3G 3 and 3G 2. Those are areas where I'm seeing like one of our young agents, she's getting $15,000 seller closing cost credit, and this is for a $500,000 home. She's getting $15,000 because the buyer's doing an FHA loan. They're also getting the seller to pay the concessions for the 2 to 2.5% commission, and they're not even pushing back. So I'm seeing a lot of this agreement because these sellers, the properties are sitting on the market and they have no one else to negotiate with. So if they want to get the property sold, they got to work with our proposal, our RPA. So package your RPAs right. Um, you're seeing mortgage payments are cheaper than rent across certain types of cities. So, if you're an investor, if you're a person looking to be a landlord and buy great income properties, you might want to check out areas where the mortgage payment is less than the rent. Where should you buy? Not in California. The red areas represent where areas where the mortgage is greater than the rent that they can receive. This is obviously conglomerated and data that is just macro information. So the blue areas represent areas that are probably good ideal candidates where to buy and still be making some what's called cash flow for your investments. So it's mostly in the East Coast. You can see there is probably a lot more opportunity. Florida is here. You can see the Carolinas, and you can see kind of statistics. For example, let's pull up Pennsylvania. The more monthly payment is 1532, and the fair market value for a rent is 1796. That's some nice cash flow. If you're looking for investors, that's probably where there's opportunity. And then people are going to say, Kelvin, why are you telling us agents to go sell property out of state? My license does not handle that. I understand that. But if you got investors, you have people with some money to put into real estate, I could still sell them a property in Florida by referring them a realtor, and I'll make my 25% to 50% referral fee by negotiating with the listing agent, someone licensed in Florida. So there's still opportunity, even if your client is depressed or has a downward outlook on California real estate. And I totally get it. I'm in agreement. So I'll tell them, like, can I sell you something in Florida? I'll set up some searches. I'll package and set you up. I'll interview a great realtor in Orlando, Florida, where there is a 24, there's different types of areas that you can find some good opportunities as an investor. Okay. So these are metropolitan areas like Berkeley, California, where I grew up not grew up, where I went to school. Uh, the rents are 4,600, but the mortgage payment is 7,400. It makes no sense to buy any any apartment buildings or multifamily in this section of town when the rents and the poor Berkeley students who are not students, they have no income, so obviously they're not be able to rent these places out for high rent. So there's also a lot of what's called rent stabilization, rent control in Berkeley and various areas of Los Angeles, which is what I'm going to talk about next. LA has a alleged certain things going on where there's a 4% city of LA cap on your rental increases. It's no longer even just, that's the city of LA. So if you're in that area, you're renting it for $1,000 a month, you can only do a 4% increase to your rents in 2026. Not only that, you also have to supply them a refrigerator. You can only charge 1 month's rent and security deposit. There's so many restrictions going on in the LA that it makes no sense to really be a landlord there. So you're starting to see a lot of multifamily as being sold. And that's where if you have some sellers and people who fed up with all the tenant laws, this is a good opportunity to approach them to get the listing, sell their asset, and find something else that they can exchange into. We have a lot of different December forms updates. So we're going to switch gears to the CAR forms. And um, as you can see here, this is a list. It's 5 pages worth of changes to the car forms. One of the forms I want to talk to you about is called the Realtor Acknowledgement and Disclosure. Did you know the Code of Ethics and various types of RESPA laws require some sort of acknowledgement and disclosure to the buyer or seller, your clients, whether there is any side compensation or benefit you're receiving from compensation from a transaction for a referral? So they're starting to change the referral type of situations as what for us as practitioners. I'm going to share this little legal quick guide with you because if you're in the referral business and you refer business to San Francisco or to Nevada or wherever, um, it's important for you to consider putting together a referral that your client acknowledges and understands and is made aware of your referral fee. So it's if you want to be compliant there is this quick guide. I'm sorry. I'm going to go ahead and to let you know that that you should disclose, oh, I'm getting, a referral fee. I'm sending you to Florida. This is your agent. He's going to compensate me, with at closing from his commission. But I just wanted you're in good hands. I interviewed him. He's a great guy. He'll take care of you. Blah 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 blah. So that's just what you're supposed to do. If you're going to pay for a referral as well, so there is forms for this. Okay. So when you go to your car forms, here let's talk about the referral fee. Here it is. And any referral fee is when an agent professional receives compensation in exchange for the referral, a client, a phone number, an email, and introducing them to purchase or sell their property, or property management, or any other types of licensed real estate activity. You're not entitled or required. This is a violation and a risk of the DRE suspending your license if you do not receive compensation directly from your broker. So that's what is the requirement. And the broker needs to be, I need to be aware that if you're going to get a referral fee, um, you know, that is something that is, do not take it directly. Let report this and get this legalized. So, if you receive something, just disclose anything of value received. We do not, we have a fiduciary to our agent, to our clients, no secret profits. So that fiduciary to our principal really just needs to be in connection with any transaction that the DRE wants us to disclose the receipt of this referral fee during the transaction. It's like a rebate. If you get a kickback from, I don't know, from your favorite XYZ service provider or other realtor, this should be disclosed. This is really to avoid the code of ethic concealment of pertinent facts. That's a claim that of Article 2. And if you do not disclose it, the client really, this is material to them. The principal may want to know that there is an obligation to pay a referral fee from the other counterparty and the impact of that, so that way they can then make their own adjustments to their expenses. And this is really just for transparency purposes. So, do realtors need to disclose the referral fee receipt, even if it doesn't affect the client's costs? Yes, the disclosure still is supposed to be required. Like again, I'm not talking about if your client treats you to dinner. I don't need to know about that. But if you're receiving any amount of compensation or value benefit, then you're supposed to disclose that and let me just advise and give you guidance. So the amount. Does that need to be disclosed? Yes, they should disclose the amount of the fee, like 25% referral fee or a flat dollar fee. These are supposed to be things that are disclosed to the principal client as soon as they are finalized or the details are worked out. So when you pay a referral from a one broker to that's in the same firm, that's not considered a referral fee. It's a distribution of compensation by the same broker. So that this is an excluded category for the form that I'm about to show you. And for California law prohibits the receipt of referral fees in any transaction that applies under RESPA. So you're not supposed to receive any referral fees from any lender, any escrow agent, any termite structural pest control firm, any home protection, home warranty company, no title company, no controlled escrow company, and all of these are what's called these fall under RESPA. The only exception to this rule for referral fees and receipt of this is if you are dealing with a non-RESPA transaction. That's a commercial transaction, 5+ units, like an apartment building, or a commercial warehouse, commercial industrial manufacturing building, office. So commercial is exclusion from RESPA requirements. Okay. So, that should answer the questions about when, where, how much, as well as how to disclose a referral fee with you and your clients. Is there any questions on this from your end? Okay. Well, this is always here. You can always download this. There is transparency that's being emphasized by CAR, NAR, and the whole entire industry itself. So there's a new RAD form that I'm going to show to you. Okay. This is the receipt. This is Realtor Acknowledgement and Disclosures form. So I am a realtor. I am with either like the West San Gabriel or Arcadia Local Association Realtors. And just letting you know that there is support and I'm disclosing to you that I'm receiving compensation from either multiple sources or I have a potential ownership interest in the property. This is when you are selling a property, maybe you're a 50% LLC owner, you flip the property and you're selling it now as a listing agent. Well, you got to disclose it to the buyer that you are a principal. You also have to receive that you are getting compensation or that you have any interest and that this is something that is, or maybe it's a family member, like your immediate family. So this is a way you can get acknowledgement from the client that the disclosure is being done ethically and in compliance to the buyer. So the type of relationship is under B here, and under 3C, the referral or fee amount you may or may be receiving from another broker for example, referring them to Oakland or Fresno or into Florida. This is the amount that you're receiving and who you're receiving it from, which firm, and the amount you're receiving, like 25%. The broker can sign this here, the manager, yeah, I'll sign this for you if you need to, and the seller and buyer can go ahead and acknowledge this disclosure form for compliance. Okay, so that's what it looks like. The other new law that takes place in California regarding the Southern California wildfires is unsolicited offers for land. And in these fire emergency zones, these are the zip codes affected. So, what I'm telling you, if you happen to be selling in these wildfire damaged areas, there is California law requiring that these impacted zip codes that the parties acknowledge and sign a new form called unsolicited offer attestation. This is something that might even be recorded by the title company, where you, buyer and seller, that you're buying this property, it was not entered as an unsolicited offer, that this you're making an attestation, it's an non-arm's length, It was in the MLS. It was for sale and properly advertised, and that the buyer and seller willingly and voluntarily agreed to this sale. This is to avoid people like the investors, and there's a lot of callers that are sending mailers. I'll sell your land because obviously some of these homeowners do not have the time to rebuild. They don't have the 3-year action plan or the energy or the funds to rebuild a $1-2 million home. So so a lot of investors, developers, they're approaching them, soliciting them with, pennies to the dollar. And this is for you as a realtor to avoid to make sure that you're doing it in compliance. Let's just go ahead and sign these form when you are selling in these zip codes. Okay? There's a lot of other drafts of documents that have been revised by our CAR MLS advisory team, Standard Forms Advisory. These are all of the changes that you can see, even like the seller counter offer. So I'm not going to go through all of these changes, but you can easily find this form changes, revisions. Search that in your CAR quick guides, and you'll find a lot of these tools that you can research at your own time. The next big change in the MLS and advertising rules is using digitally altered images. I talked about this about AB 723, but basically beginning January 1st, which is in 2.5 weeks, we need to make sure if you are going to alter an image like virtual stage, if you're going to change the sky, if you're going to change and paint the green grass, or add any landscaping, any types of artificial intelligence in your photography, guess what? We need to make a statement. We need to say that this image has been digitally altered. Now, if you're only doing minor tweaks to the white balance, color corrections, maybe doing a little bit of cropping or changing the lighting, that does not need to be that is excluded. That does not need to be falling under this category. But if you are doing, changing the paint color, you're doing some new flooring or walls or different types of window editing, these are all areas where you do need to not, you have to do two things. You must write a disclaimer statement disclosing this has been digitally altered, and you also have to do one of these three things here. Have a link to an accessible public website, the URL, where they can find the unaltered image, the original image. Then you have the or a QR code. So these two things must be met if you wish to avoid an MLS photo violation. I'm telling you now, this is going to be a lot of violations going on. So the broker, salesperson, or agent needs to kind of really comply, and you can easily get this reported if from other realtors who are going to be policing this. And we don't know how the MLS is going to handle it yet, but I definitely can tell you, have your photographers or have yourself, if you're going to make these AI or do different types of things, just fall under the compliance and give the link and share the original as well. My suggestion is just also put the original right as the next photo in order. Altered image, unaltered image, and have it very, very easy to find that there's no misrepresentation of the property. Okay, so that brings us to the end of the news and announcements. Let's get into the new listings. Is there any questions on any of this? All right, let's logging into the MLS real quick and we'll get to the end of the sales meeting. Thank you for being here and sticking to almost the end. Active listings. Let's go ahead and talk about that. And our company active listings for the last couple weeks, let's go ahead and promote them. 11042 Manchester in Rancho Cucamonga. Kayla Liu, listing agent, has this $3,700 a month rental. It's a 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath, Nice single family and very warm inviting. It's very, very high ceilings, updated, move-in ready, looks very turnkey. And if you have anyone looking for a rental in Rancho Cucamonga, this is a great one for you. 2900 Shakespeare Drive in San Marino. We got a listing here for 6,800 a month. Great price, by the way. That's less than $3 a square foot for a four-bedroom rental. It's a desirable property north of Huntington Drive. Brand new listing for rent. And congratulations to Doreen Tuan and Tammy Chung for their rental. And we have our next listing here is 1954 Endicott Road in San Marino. A $5,800 per month rental, three bedrooms for a big 9,000 lot size. And this is for rent with also Doreen and Tammy Chung. So just giving you a feel for this one as well. Good neighborhood. This one looks like it's pretty move-in ready as well and very nice and great place to call home just south of Huntington Drive. This is 9042 Garvey, number 16, Rosemead. 3580 for this rental, 1,700 square feet, three bedrooms, four baths. And oh, I've seen these. This is yeah, this is some townhomes I've seen been years ago. Steve Hang has this listing and talk to him if you have anyone interested in renting out right here on Garvey. Great location. 3136 Garnett in Fullerton is actually, I think this is closing in the next few days. So, Joseph Wong, congratulations on your fourplex. 1.538 million for this fourplex. Uh, and yeah, congratulations to him. I know it's closing soon. 2989 Lenwood in Barstow. We got a gorgeous Barstow warehouse, I believe, a commercial lease, I'm sorry. And this is for rent. A lot of square footage here. Anyone looking for 10 acres of land and 105,000 square foot warehouse. It's industrial storage facility, and you can do a lot of different flexible things with this one. Talk to Henry Liu if you have anyone looking for um, a nice warehouse over here, right in the middle of here in Vegas. 23571 Sunny Mead Ranch Parkway in Moreno Valley. This is awesome. A $14 million commercial real estate property. There's multiple APN numbers here. What do we got? We got 80,000 square feet, 10 acres of land. And what do we have here? It's a marketplace shopping center for sale. So what do you got? You got a nice little shopping center. You have a lot of Bank of America as one of your anchor tenants, and you have a vacant, maybe a supermarket store. But hey, this is a great opportunity for you commercial investors out there. 1031 exchange, $14 million. Talk to Henry Liu if you have anyone interested and have on this shopping plaza. 4640 Via Frondosa in Yorba Linda. This is a $1.1 million for sale property. Four bedrooms, two baths. Jagjit Singh is listing this age property. It's I did this is priced pretty well. This is on in right in the middle of all the comps, but the condition is great. If you look inside, 1.1 million. It's a nice property here, well maintained. Interior looks great. Practically looks like new, and totally remodeled. If you are a agent that are wanting to do open houses in Yorba Linda, you are welcome to contact me. I'm helping Jagjit find open house people to volunteer. So you are totally welcome if you want to do open house. This is only just 2 weeks on the market. Let me know and I can set you up for the open houses. 9659 Woodruff Ave in Unit B in Temple City for rent. 1,700 per month for a little studio. It's 380 square feet, but it's maintained and remodeled inside. So if you want a 380 square foot, one bedroom, you could talk to Adam Luong for this rental and let him know if you have anyone interested. And 1613 West Boulevard. This is another rental in LA. 4750, just recently reduced $200. And it's a great location, great house. Look at this wonderful rental. 4750. You got your own yard. Nice three bedroom. Talk to Shermona Clark on this rental. She's got this, and she also has a new hit show. So, I can't remember the show name, but if you want to know, Shermona is one of our agents. Um, Kat, do you know what show it's called? Maybe type it in the chat. Um, but she did a show with one of her celebrity client friends, Tiffany Haddish, and this she did something on a Disney Haunted Mansion is what she's known for. So our agent Shermona's in this trailer. You can see her in this show, and there's episodes on this mini series. If you want to support her and see her, this is the show. Tiffany Haddish Goes Off. It's a Peacock NBC original um, reality show. All right, so just a quick shout out to Shermona. Um, I think she'll be here at the. Hopefully, she's going to be there at the holiday luncheon as well. 515 Fairview Ave in Arcadia. This is a 2300 Arcadia rental and unit number 8, 800 square feet, two bedroom for 2300. Talk to her, Henry. Talk to Henry Liu if you have anyone interested in this Arcadia rental. And 648 Hamel, Monterey Park for the rent. 3650, three bedroom, two bath. And this is, yeah, gorgeously remodeled in Monterey Park. I actually really know this street very well. Um, so this is a nice, quiet street, good mountain views near Macy Park and Macy Intermediate. And that's it for our actives. Let's talk about our closers. So I just want to celebrate some of you guys who've sold in the last couple of weeks. Okay, so we have 16138 Cadwell Street in La Puente just closed. 749,000 Edgar Contreras. Congratulations to him and his wife for getting this one closed. Four bedrooms, two baths. He ended up double ending this transaction and it got sold in his first week. So good job. Kudos to him and getting this closing right before the holidays. Then we had 1113 Avenue 50 in LA. This sold at 837,500. Congratulations to Amy for getting your listing closed. It's only a two bedroom, but hey, you still got 837,000. Sticking with it for 200 days on the market, that is perseverance. Good job to 6433 Livia in Temple City. Sylvia and Mark Ramos for their seller got roughly 262,000 over asking. So this is a nice North San Gabriel property with Temple's, I'm sorry, north of Longden, Temple City property, and it has Temple City schools. I think this one was a crazy, ridiculous activity. A lot of offers. I think they had 40 offers plus, and they got a nice closing for their seller. 6227 Sultana Ave just closed for 900,000. I think this was Manny Aquino. And yes, he got this one closed for his relative. Got a nice townhouse, 900 grand. 80 Greenmore, number 40. This is Brian Campa. This one is scheduled to close in Friday. So hopefully this will close in 2 days. But good job to him. And he stuck with his seller for 140 days. And proud to say his sales is going very, very smoothly. And congratulations to him. A couple of other closers I wanted to announce is our buyer side closings, and that will be right here. And we have a couple closings with um, 35559 Hogan in Beaumont. This is Alicia Valencia. She closed this with her client, 515,000, and the seller provided a lot of concessions towards the closing costs. So I'm very happy to see. Look at that, $100,000 concessions on the closing costs. This is amazing. Okay. So good job to Alicia for getting deals for her buyers. And we have 60 West Orange Grove in Arcadia just closed, 2.198 million. So proud of that closing. Good job to Amy and Margaret Lee for getting this closed for their clients. And 109 Cuyahoga Court in Paris, 550,000, also sold by Alicia Valencia. I did the TC for this one, and yeah, she got also, see here, roughly $29,000 worth of closing costs. So good job to her and her clients. Happy for them. And 1900 Pepper in Alhambra just closed for 735,000. This is with Jackson Wong. Congratulations on getting this one closed for your buyer. But that's it for the closings. I know there's a few more I might have missed. But anything on your end, any needs and wants, any coming soons that you want to share? Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing my screen and that brings us to the end of the sales meeting. I do want to wish all of you a very, very Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. Spend some awesome time with your family. I do want to give a broker a vacation notice. So me and my family will be out of town taking a cruise. Russell's first cruise will go beyond the Caribbean, and so we'll be very limited if phone access while I'm all overseas, but obviously you can still email me. I'll have connection to Wi-Fi. And just giving you a notice, December 21st to January 2nd, I'll be hard to reach and enjoying a little bit of Orlando as well and taking my family out to go see Universal Studios and all the cool stuff over there. So, much needed vacation time. I thank you for your help and loyalty with the company. Go ahead and make some sales, and I'll be back right after the New Year's. All right. Wish you guys a great happy holidays. That's it for today. Hey, Christmas. Hi, Adam.
Hey, take care.